The continent of Africa is home to countless incredible creatures known worldwide. Elephants, rhinos, giraffes, hippos, lions, these are all legendary and iconic creatures in their own right. But I'm interested in the creatures that are a little less well known, a little overlooked or overshadowed, or outright forgotten sometimes. I'm of course talking about reptiles. This is Voinis Ventures. My name is Dan Voinis. I'm a wildlife filmmaker, naturalist, and adventurer, and over the past several years, I've traveled all over, searching for some of the world's most incredible animals to get in front of the camera. Now, in this multi-part epic, I'm embarking on my greatest adventure yet, traveling halfway across the world to the continent of Africa, where I will encounter some of the most incredible creatures on the entire planet. This is Voinis Ventures, Africa. Southern Africa is home to hundreds of awesome species of reptiles. This includes some really incredible species of lizards, some tortoises including the famous leopard tortoise, and some highly venomous snakes. These include the Pup Adder, one of the fastest striking snakes in the world, the boomslang, one of the only deadly rear-fang snakes, and the Cape Cobra, one of the most venomous snakes drop for drop in the entire world. And of course, here you can find the creme de la creme of awesome reptiles, the Nile Crocodile, the second largest crocodile in the entire world, the second largest reptile in the entire world, and one of, personally, my favorite creatures on the entire planet. So hopefully, on this journey, I can find some of the awesome reptilian creatures that call this land home and get them in front of the camera for you guys so that you too can learn to appreciate and love them the way I do. I get the first look of Africa's diverse reptiles before even leaving our camp. This is a Cape girdled lizard. These armored lizards are found all over southern Africa and can live in large numbers. However, they seem to be much faster than me, and this little guy quickly gives me the slip. Girdled lizards live near cracks and crags and rocks and logs, and if they feel threatened, they will wedge themselves in and inflate their bodies, sealing themselves in. Something I'm currently witnessing firsthand. I then hop aboard a safari vehicle and set out into the bush, looking for reptiles. The weather here is bright and sunny, but not overwhelmingly hot thanks to the high winds. Climates like this are perfect for cold-blooded reptiles. It enables them to regulate their body temperature by alternating from warm to cool as needed. It's no surprise that this part of the world has such a high diversity of reptiles. The reptiles are so thick on the ground that one is even right in the middle of the road. This is an ungulate tortoise, a beautiful little female. Ungulate tortoises are an absolutely beautiful small-sized tortoise that's very common in southern Africa. It's absolutely incredible. She seems so comfortable around me. This is an area that is protected from humans, so she has not learned to fear people. She just sees me as some big, oddly shaped object. In fact, she seems to want to hide underneath me. It's possible she's trying to hide from potential predators, but she could also just be trying to get out of the sun. Either way, she's a very small but very determined little cutie. Continuing on foot, I come across another cute little African reptile. This little guy is a crossmarked grass snake. While Africa is home to countless deadly venomous snakes, this guy is actually not someone I need to worry about. They only have small, primitive fangs in the back of their mouths, and their venom is not dangerous to people at all. However, if I were a tiny little lizard, this guy would be terrifying. While this snake is not dangerous, some snakes out here have a highly venomous, deadly bite. This becomes all too clear once night falls, and my guide gets a call on his radio. Alright, we just got a call on our radio that right after sundown, someone found a Pup Adder right outside the door of a cabin on the reserve. Pup Adder is one of the most widespread venomous snakes in southern Africa. They're short, they're fat, but they hit like a truck. Alright, this guy is He's a viper, similar to rattlesnakes and cottonmouths in the States. But the venom is a lot stronger, and the strike is a lot faster, so we're gonna go and try and get a hold of him, hopefully. Get him and the people out of harm's way.
We arrive shortly. Already packaged and ready for delivery is one angry, deadly, beautiful snake.
I feel like a kid on Christmas, my big box. You can hear. It's got a nice echo effect, acoustics in there. That's why they're called Pup Adders. Because when they feel threatened, they're not rattlesnakes. They don't have a rattle to shake. They just make a loud noise. They puff up their already not insubstantial body. Try and look as big and sound as scary as possible. So this is a big snake. She's probably a female. She's looking a little chunky, and you can tell just the beautiful pattern on her. White bordered dark chevrons running down the body is how you can always tell it's a puff adder. Puff adders have a very distinct pattern, but when she's in the leaf litter on the ground, she is absolutely invisible. And that's where a lot of people have problems with these guys, because they puff up when they're cornered, once they've been had. But if they don't think they've been spotted, they will sit quietly and hope that they're hidden. Well, if someone with bare feet walks by, steps right on them, it's like a landmine. Just pow, in an instant. And much like a landmine, they could lose their life or their leg or, you know, any kind of horrible consequences. But we're going to take her to a nice little spot. Shaw, you think you've got a good spot in mind?
Yeah, we've got a nice area with termite mounds, and there will be lots of mice present. So, and I have found Pup Adder there before.
All right,
so yeah, that's a thing.
Hopefully she'll be in good company and she can forget about this strange abduction she has experienced.
Well, it's so good that we can release her and that she wasn't killed, because many people out of ignorance and fear, probably because of ignorance, kill snakes, and it's not necessary. They play a very, very important role in the ecosystem. And yeah, this is absolutely, yeah, we've had a good day, eh? What a day, yeah.
My guide Charles drives us farther out, deep into the bush, until we find the perfect spot to release this beautiful animal.
All right, so we think we've got a pretty good spot here. So we have a den. Looks like it's an unused den. It's long abandoned. Some mammal dug this out, where she can go into. It'll hopefully be a little warmer. It's a little chilly tonight. Or she can come out under this big just tangle of branches and bush. So it's kind of got a little bit of options for her to choose, where she can hide out and hopefully find some nice rat dinner when it warms up for her.
Yeah, she's quite cold, quite stiff.
Okay. So, come on. Problem is she's so heavy, she's so sturdy, it's hard to tip her over. Oh, okay. There she goes.
That will wake her up.
There, we can hear that. Come on.
Yeah, sort of just slide her out now. Go a bit more, dip deeper towards the hole.
Oh, look at her. Pull that head back, she's ready to go.
Yeah, what a beaut.
Okay. Ooh, I couldn't really tell with the plastic, but she's got kind of a yellowish tint to her. So you could see, if this wasn't sand, if this was some of that leaf litter just behind her, she'd be invisible. Absolutely invisible. These guys are one of the most perfect ambush predators. She doesn't like when I move.
You see?
There we go. Now, she knew I wasn't close enough to hit, but that was a back off and leave me alone strike, while she makes a, for a Pup Adder, quick getaway. And look, this is something you only see with these really, really heavy-bodied snakes. How she moves. it's almost a caterpillar-like motion. What she's doing, she's actually using her body muscles to move her ribs, almost like a millipede, and just inch forward. She doesn't wiggle or undulate like you see most snakes. She just sort of slowly crawls.
Looks like she might like a new home.
She likes the den. Well, this is your home sweet home, girl. What an absolutely beautiful girl. She's taking advantage of the echo in there, because that hiss is quite loud. All right, and you know, next time some unsuspecting small mammal comes in, thinks she's found a nice little home for the night, she's got herself some dinner. So I think she should be better off here than on someone's porch, or even worse, at the end of someone's shovel. So overall, a good night.
As I watch her slither into the den, I don't realize that she shares space with another lizard. This is a spotted thick-toed gecko, a small ground-dwelling species of gecko. Luckily, I think this little guy's a bit too small to be in danger from this venomous viper. The next morning, I come across one of the most iconic of Africa's reptiles. This is the leopard tortoise. While not as big as the giant tortoises found on many island chains, leopard tortoises are one of the largest tortoises on the continent of Africa. Named for their beautiful spotted shell patterns, these guys can be found in a wide and diverse array of habitats, where they thrive on grasses and other low vegetation. While most turtles are omnivorous, tortoises are strict vegetarians, using their tough, sturdy beaks to cut through plant matter. This beautiful little girl picks herself up and marches off, surprisingly fast for a tortoise. Intrigued, I follow her, only to see her arrive at a watering hole. Tortoises are entirely terrestrial, unlike other turtles, but even they must come to the water's edge to drink. And here in Africa, the water's edge can be the most dangerous place around. As I watch this turtle reach down to get a drink, my jaw drops. Not 6 feet away from her is a massive Nile crocodile. Nile crocodiles are the second largest crocodile in the world, and are one of the greatest apex predators on the continent. They are capable of taking down prey the size of a water buffalo. They have the strongest bite force on the planet at 3,700 pounds per square inch, easily capable of crushing a tortoise shell. And yet, he's showing no threat to this tortoise. It's possible that he's just not hungry. Crocodiles have a slow metabolism and only need to eat once every 1 or 2 weeks, sometimes even going up to several months between meals. During this time, they may peacefully coexist with other animals coming down to drink. In this watering hole, I spot 2 crocodiles, likely a mating pair of a male and a female. Now, anyone who watches my show will know that I am no stranger to crocodilians. They're my absolute favorite animals. I've spent much of my life filming and working with American alligators in Texas, and I've also encountered American crocodiles in Belize. But these Nile crocs are an entirely different beast. Unlike alligators or American crocs, Nile crocs actually do target and eat people, believed to kill hundreds of people every year. They're one of the very few crocodilians that do this. Most crocodilians actually target much smaller prey, and thus aren't naturally aggressive towards humans. I cautiously approach the banks, always on guard and constantly watching their behavior. Never, ever take this risk. I know full well how dangerous these animals are, and I am relying on my knowledge of crocodilian body language to keep me safe. As I approach these crocs, I notice one of them starting to do something strange. He seems to be kicking his legs, digging out this spot by the banks. I've heard of this behavior before, but I've never seen it. What he's doing is actually modifying the bank, digging out an indentation in the ground, which he will then use to hunt. By digging this groove into the bank, the crocodile gives himself an optimal spot to wait for prey, forcing animals that come to drink to take up a spot right beside him, where he only needs to swing his head to the side to grab the prey. This is absolutely incredible. Not only does it speak to the surprising and little understood intelligence these animals possess, but it also shows an example of actual habitat modification. These crocodiles modify and change the physical environment around them, similar to beavers or termites, something that could have a similarly vital role in the ecosystem that we just don't understand yet. I can sit here and watch these crocodiles for hours. However, the female does something strange. She climbs out of the water, walking far away from the bank, and rests on a patch of sand on a raised hill near the water. This is unusual because at this point clouds have covered up the sun and the temperature starts to feel much cooler as the wind picks up. Suddenly, the realization hits me. She's nesting.
Alright, I've got the female crocodile right here, right next to her nest. Got my guide keeping an eye on the water because we have the male croc and the hippo both in the water. So I cannot stress this enough. Never, ever do something like this. This is a crocodile at their most dangerous. They're the only reptile that will defend their eggs and their offspring. So, the only reason she's not trying to kill me with how close I am right now is because it's pretty chilly. We've got a huge wind coming in. The sun is out behind the clouds. So she's feeling very lethargic. Basically, she's coming in, sorry. The male's in the water right now. That's because right now the water's much warmer than the land. But she's up here. Basically, she doesn't have a lot of fight in her at the moment, but she's hoping that just her presence here will be a deterrent for anything hoping to raid the nest. You can see she's starting to close her eyes, which is hopefully a good sign. She's feeling a little more relaxed. Of course, it also doesn't help that I'm having to shout and talk, but I'm trying to stay in front of her because if she did decide that she wanted to give a charge, if I was from the side or the back, she could swing around in a heartbeat. But from the front, on land, she can only give a short lunge, which hopefully I'd be able to avoid. But I just don't want that to happen in the first place because I don't want to put myself in more danger and I don't want to stress her out too much. I can see the male right there. He's not taking his eyes off. But I gotta say, this is one of the most incredible experiences I could possibly have, being this close to a large Nile crocodile. And this could probably only happen in these exact circumstances. Any other circumstances, and I'd be dead. I'd be done. I'd be out of here. Nile crocodiles are not like American alligators, which will build a large mound of rotting vegetation. They're called hole nesters, where basically they find some real loose sandy soil a little bit up the bank, and they dig a hole. And they basically, if you didn't know what you're looking for, you'd probably miss it. But I can see here, there's a patch of sandy soil. It's been disturbed. You can see where her bellies come, where she's laid on top of the nest. When she lays on top of the nest, she's not trying to warm it up like a bird. Crocodiles have no body heat. What she's doing there is she's literally just sitting and guarding. She will not leave. She will not let this nest out of her sight until, hopefully, the eggs hatch and we get some crocodiles. And even after they hatch, she will still keep them around and still protect the hatchlings for the first part of their lives. So if you ever see a baby crocodilian in the wild, take 10 big steps back because mama is somewhere nearby.
Spending time and sharing space with all of these incredible reptiles in their habitat, in their home, in the wild, is my absolute dream come true. While most people may see cold, unfeeling, sluggish, and possibly dangerous animals, I see these intelligent, beautiful, magnificent creatures whose lifestyles and body plans have remained unchanged for millions of years. I'm not the only person who sees their majesty. Throughout the continent, countless cultures have featured these animals in their mythologies and religions. Most well known, the ancient Egyptians revered the crocodile as sacred to Sobek, the crocodile god of the Nile and fertility. They weren't the only ones. In Madagascar, crocodiles are believed to be the embodiment of a village's ancestors, and on the mainland, they are seen as the totems for many tribes and peoples. Snakes also feature prominently in African folklore, everything from a symbol of royalty in Egypt, to the Ibo people of West Africa revering the python, to many spirits taking serpentine forms, such as Mamiwata or Nyami Nyami. Tortoises show up as well, such as the legend of Mbeku, the slow trickster tortoise. Despite being cultural icons for countless people, Africa's reptiles are still facing threats from humans. Thankfully, none of the animals I encounter here are listed as threatened or endangered, but all of them are declining in some way. The wilds of Africa, much like other parts of the world, are rapidly vanishing, leading to habitat loss for all species. Tortoises face threats from the illegal animal trade, where they are captured from the wild and sold alive as pets or are killed for their meat. Snakes, of course, are so commonly demonized, seen as deadly monsters and killed on sight. That Pup Adder I rescued earlier likely would have been killed if any other person had come across it. Crocodiles are hunted by humans for a wide number of reasons, ranging from meat and leather to sport to just fear and hatred. Despite being the most abundant crocodile in Africa, the Nile croc has been in decline for the past several centuries, even being wiped out of many regions they used to inhabit. Historically, they used to range up into the Mediterranean and even into the Middle East. It is important that we shatter the misconceptions that reptiles are ugly, unsympathetic, or even dangerous monsters. They're beautiful animals and demand our respect and understanding, and most importantly, our protection. I absolutely love these creatures with all of my heart, and I hope that my videos can convince you to love them too. Because as Steve Irwin once said, humans want to save things that they love.
This has been one absolutely incredible adventure. Awesome tortoises, cool lizards, highly venomous snakes, and of course, some awesome, ancient crocodilian predators. I can't think of a better way to cap off this incredible experience here in Africa than by spending some up-close personal time with this beautiful mother crocodile and her nest. You can't tell it from here, but she's probably a little tired of me, almost as much as I'm just regular plain tired, so I think I'm gonna finally get out of her hair and leave her to hopefully raise the next generation of beautiful, awesome crocodiles. So, sweetheart, I thank you for your time, and I'm sure my audience thanks you